Recording in progress.
Man, that's that lady from Google Maps.
So get ready for some tricks up these sleeves, alright? Watch your bones, pal.
They not. Nope, they not.
Ready?
No, you're not. No, you're not. Really ready. Come on. No, you're not. Really ready. Hey.
Are you ready?
And welcome to another edition of The Media Shift, a podcast where we talk with radio professionals from around the country and talk to them about all of the changes that are currently going on in the industry and all the changes that they've seen in their tenure as broadcasters. So we're going to have a great guest on the show today, Dennis Schetter. He has been a radio broadcaster all around the country, currently a producer for the Ben Joravsky Show and a show, or I should say, and a company called Spoken Layer. So we're going to talk to him in just a moment. Hang on.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, what has changed about it since you started? Like in the beginning, maybe you weren't doing the social media stuff for shows, or you weren't doing any additional like online after show podcasts. When did you start to see it change as far as, oh, wow, now we're doing more web stuff? When did you notice that?
I felt like it was slower than a lot of people may think. I just felt like it took radio a while. Well, in my experience, at least, like radio was kind of like, love radio to death. Thank you for everything you've done for me, but a little stubborn at times. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's do this HD radio. Like, what is that? Like, I think the future is, social media and online. And it really, I remember sports radio, to be honest, like living back in St. Louis, listening to sports radio, and they were bringing up like hashtags and like tweets and all that. That like that got into the format of your show. You know what I mean? Where you're reading tweets and talking about Twitter. I remember Twitter was the real big one. It was probably like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
That when Twitter started really, the fuddy-duddies over in radio are talking about it. Okay, now we're playing game.
Yep. I mean, it took a while for radio, and I had a discussion with a few other people about this, and I think it was because, and this is just my personal opinions, and you can give me yours, but I feel like radio really had its heyday in the 80s and 90s. Like there was a ton of advertising dollars. There was a ton of stations. People's ears and eyes were focused on station dials and listening to what was going on them.
Oh, and if the movies that I've watched from the 70s are true, it seemed like the 70s were awesome for radio as well.
It seemed much more laid back in the 70s for radio.
Like those movies where the kids like win the tickets.
Yeah.
And they go to like the concert or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that seemed like radio was awesome back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, my mom back in the 70s had won an entire like 500 records from a record store from a radio station.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And I think that was partially what drew us all in originally, was we were people that were fans. We were listeners. And then we realized, wow, I might be able to do this. And now for kids that are growing up now that don't even think about careers in radio because they don't even know what a radio is, or they think it's just the thing you connect your Bluetooth to play music. Like that's it's a whole new world for them. But at the same time, they are in the same boat that we were at that point. They're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, and finding a creative outlet or creative element that they can put forward to the world while they're finding who they are. Do you agree with any of that?
Oh, honestly, I think radio, it'll always be around. I just think no one's bragging about listening to the radio now. You know what I mean? You're not, if you meet someone who's older and they know like a pop song, there's a good chance that they listen to the radio. You know what I mean? Why do they know that song? You're like 50. Oh, you actually listen to the radio still, and those are the songs that are on the popular channels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I think and like Uber and Lyft drivers always have radio on. I think it's
So I mean, it's not gone for the youth yet.
No, it's not gone from the youth yet. It's like not in their top 5 things that they're trying to do, but it's there. It's just, I don't know, like it.
That's great. No, and that really brings me to my next point that I wanted to get to. Like, what can radio stations and TV stations and things like that, what can they do to engage in this world to where they're not number 5 or 6 on the things that the kids might do,
right?
And they become 2 or 3. How do they take out Pandora or Netflix, or how does radio regain relevance, I guess?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned television in there. I think television has made some steps ahead of radio. Mm-hmm. But radio, I feel I don't know, like, let's go all the way back to the day where they cut a deal with like record labels, and like that was the one way you could listen to music, you know what I mean? And that was the only way where you can kind of hear music for like, without buying the record. Yeah. For so long. It
was accessible.
Maybe that format needs to kind of be looked at a little bit, now in 2021, because there's so many ways to, get music, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I think that maybe radio can do. Because like, yeah, now I'm working in like podcasting, and here it is, like my job, we're in short form audio, and it's basically like the bare bones basics of what I was doing in radio. You know what I mean? Like recording, doing a voiceover with not that much music under it. And, just really bare bones, like audio stuff. And it's kind of killing it right now. You know what I mean? So maybe radio can kind of look at other angles, you know what I mean? Because back in the day, like, the record labels and the music, that's a cool thing, and that was a way to make money. But maybe now, there's other ways to use it. Come on, no, you're not really ready.